All right, welcome to our live instructional webinars designed to support the Memory Book Online Yearbook program. Today, we will be focusing on the functions that relate to building activity or candid pages. Specifically, we will be reviewing page bleeds in the margins, the tools, toolbars, design functions, going over templates and using our templates and how that you can take our templates and modify them and make your own templates. Which is in custom templates. And then to wrap it all up, where they're going to end on kind of some of the themes that we have here in the program. And by themes, it's mainly like the clip art and that, and how to put that theme art onto your pages to kind of accompany your cover. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to flip over to the next spread here and zoom in here. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to explain in the terms of printing is we're going to term what bleed is when we're talking about pages or our design page. So when we're talking about bleeds, what bleed is in terms of printing, it's full color that extends beyond the edge of your page. Past the trim area and that. So that way when your pages go to production to be trimmed, it's essentially with the color going beyond, it's gonna, you're gonna have full color out to the edge of your page, and you're not gonna be left with any kind of unsightly paper edging or anything that you see here. So that's just what we mean when we talk about bleed. Really, when you're building your pages, if you put nothing out here, then it'll just be a white background. Then it'll just be white here. But if you're wanting your backgrounds, a lot of the backgrounds here in the program, or if even you bring your own shapes or something in to fill in the page, if it's going out here to the bleed, and that's kind of indicated by this lighter shaded gray. So when you got a background all the way out, it's this lighter area right here. This is the bleed area that is estimated to be trimmed off. That's here. And that kind of goes along. We're going to talk about these little lines here. So what's our red line? What's our blue line that we're seeing on our pages? The blue line here, we'll start here. This blue line, this is your inside page margins. Zoomed in here so you can also see the grids that are here. So this is your inside page area. This is your safe area. This is where you'll want all of your text and images mainly within. And then you've got a background that'll go all the way out to the bleed. This outer red line that we have here, this is the estimated trim line. And why we say estimated during final production, this could be, there could be up to a 1/8 variance here among the trim. And that just comes from conditions of, what is being ran, how's the trimmer running that day, who's the operator, how much of a stack, how much are they trimming at one time. So all those little variables can get added in there. So that's why we say this is an estimated trim line here. Now, when we're talking about bleeds in that, now one thing about the program, it's not going to allow you to finally rest anything between the trim line and the margin line. So it'll either bring it all the way out or it'll want to snap it all the way in. So there's no fine resting there with that. Now, one thing I used to show here with this is if you're doing collage pages. Let me see. I have too much here. Let me bring a collage here and bring them up kind of close. All right, so when we're looking at pages and we're doing pages that go across, one thing when you're working on bleed pages, or you can have candid pages where you stick the photos all the way out to the edges here. So things that you're looking for in photos that you want to push out to the edges is kind of where the kids, or what the main focus of the photo, where it's kind of cropped out already. So when we're looking at an image like this, a lot of sometimes if you're just doing a candid page, you're just tossing a whole bunch of images onto the page and then you're pushing those out to the sides and filling in the middle. Now those images that you have on the outer, um, you'll want to kind of check those out. Just depends on what you have to work here. So an image like this, it has a lot of room down at the bottom. So I'm trying to get down to the bottom of the page here, but I'm zoomed in. So there's a lot of area here. Most of what we need is in the safe area. And really what's going to be trimmed off here is just some grass. Now it could play the other way here. There could be down here.
Oops.
And an image like this, you'll want to kind of have near up the top where we don't really have anything getting trimmed off here. And our kiddos are still, within frame. Where things can go if I adjust this back to where if you then have an image like this, an image like where they're cut right up at the top is probably one that you don't want to put right up in here. It does put them at risk of being trimmed. So with this estimated, while it shows like it may just show a little bit, I'm going to bring a guide down here. And if it was just off on the short side, we could get more of her taken off or just that. So just wanted to give that heads up out there on if you're doing full page bleeds with just candid photos, check out what extra space you have in your images there, where they what works best. So like this image still works well because this is the middle, this is going into the binding, but these kiddos are still here within the margins. Okay, so just want to give you a little bit of a basic on that. I'm changing one thing here. I'm going to get into a different one here, show some of the other stuff here. We'll just pick one. All right. So from here, kind of some things that we'll look at is just the different things that you're working with here in the program when you're building your pages. Coming down vertically on our tabs that are down here, we've got our Pages tab. So while you're working on one page, you want to quickly jump to another page to work on, go to Pages tab. The Designs tab, this houses all of our pre-made templates for you to use. So if we open up Designs, open up the drop down, for today's exercise, we're going to be looking under Page Surfer, and Page Surfer houses a lot, or well, actually it houses all of our candid and activity page templates. What is in Candids is this is kind of this section has the more basic headline or basic candid templates that are in here. Some have photo boxes, and few have just they may also have a heading to go with it. A lot of these are just kind of minimal in styling, but very good to drop in there. So if you see a template that you like or you want to use for a candid activity page, I'm just going to bring, I'll just use this 2-page set here. So I'm going to bring one over. You're going to get a message when you bring templates over. You want to retain existing content. In this case, there's not anything here to save, like a background or anything. So I'm going to hit no. Just going to bring the template over, drag and drop the other side. Now, if you're pretty sure you want it to keep doing the same thing over and over, you can hit do not show again. But I usually like to leave this up just because you never know. So it's just drag and dropping to get your templates on. Now, if we go to some of the other categories here, clubs, organizations, gallery, openings and dividers, sports, there are a lot of other templates in here to utilize.
Yeah, maybe. I think they want it to be shown off.
So if a lot of these other ones, just drag a few on. So a lot going on here. So just because it is in one kind of division or not, any of the templates can be brought onto the page, and you can rearrange them and change them up to your liking there. But definitely, we really encourage you to kind of go through some of these other ones just to kind of find out what we have. Even today, each year we go through this, and there's stuff that we haven't seen before. There's just tons of stuff, different content to make real, neat little pages. So that was student life and academics. Openings and dividers, just have like if you have intros before different sections of the book, these come in really handy here. But just because they're in openings and dividers doesn't mean you have to use it for that. There's just a lot of things here you can use for some neat and simple kind of page building. All right, so I'm going to go back just a regular one here and try to find one that I think that we can edit for this today. Okay, so I'll just go there to drop a template on. So going through some of the other ones here. So again, designs, this is where we're going to go to all of your templates that are here. So definitely check out all of these. But it is about the easiest way to do, if you want a quick and easy page creation, you want to save yourself a lot of time, definitely I would suggest go through the templates. There's a lot of good things here. And like I said, any of these templates here are adjustable. So if I wanted to actually make this one big spot here, I could take out one of these boxes and I can adjust this. Maybe, I didn't want all of these. Maybe I wanted a longer headline spot just because I don't know, how big the teacher's name's going to be. Change the color on any of these. Now you can modify our own templates. You can modify them to make it to more of your own styling. Maybe I don't like all of this. Maybe take out that line, and maybe I just liked this one side here. Or maybe I don't like that one big box that's there. Maybe I want some shorter boxes to go down. So here with this selected, we want to copy this, say we want to copy this down. The keyboard shortcuts for Control C, Control V. That's on PC. If you're on Mac, that's Command C, Command V to paste yourself a few more down. You can right click on it, do copy, cut and copy, and then later come paste. You can also, if you go under the edit menu, here we've got cut, copy, paste, and delete here as well. Also your undo and redo. Now undo and redo will be under the edit menu, but you're also going to find it as a quick action on the top toolbar here. I'm just going to do an edit, copy, edit, paste, bring another box down. From here, I'll just do Control C, Control V, the shortcuts. And there we go. Then we kind of quickly bring that up, make our own style here. And I'll make that a little bit longer, make that bottom flush there. All right, so this is me just taking one of our templates and modifying it to something I may think I want to use on other pages. Now, let's say you take one of our templates and you want to save it. You've modified it, but you want to save it as your own to then carry on other pages. That way you don't have to keep recreating this each and every time. Save this as a template. Just go up to the File menu, do Save as Template. Now, if you have done both sides, you could do both pages. In this case, it's just the left page, so I'm going to hit left page for this one. And I'll give it today's date. There. I think I've got tons of other ones that have my candid page, but I'm just going to put today's date. That way it saves without error and save. Okay, so now when you save your own templates, those will also be under the Designs tab. So we go back to Designs, we go back to our drop down, and we're going to go to find anything that we have done. We're going to go under Custom, and we're going to look under My Templates. You see some of the other ones that I have saved before. So that one was, oh, My Candid page here. So I'm just going to bring it, drag and drop it over. Do you retain anything? No. Now, one thing you will notice, if you take a template that was created on a left and drop it on the right, it's going to flip and mirror it. So if you want that same look going through there, usually what you may have to do is set yourself up a left side template and a right side template. Let's see. Trying to think if that would, nope, that's not what I want to do, but that is a neat little thing that I just showed there. What I just did on that, I wasn't meaning to do that, but I went under mirror and I did mirror vertically, and that kind of flipped the layout. I think what I was trying to do, let me go under view. Now, on your page views, you do start off as a 2-page spread, but if you're working to where you're in the book, if you want to work just on single page, go under view, go down here to single page. Let's see, we're on page 14. I'm going to go over here because what I was trying to do is under the arrange, come to mirror. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. I had to be in single page mode for it to work here. Okay, so now if I go back to view and facing pages, now I've got the same layout on both sides here. So in this case, what I will do here is I'll do File, Save as Template, my candid page. I'll still just give it the same date, but name it. Usually when I'm doing this, if I have a left and a right, I usually, whatever the template name is, but then I kind of mark out left and or right in all caps. And that's just a helper for me. But I found it really good, just kind of easily be able to get in there and actually, I need to do right page because we're doing the right page here. I'm gonna hit save. And there we go. Now, if I were to clear all this off, it's a brand new spread. So I've got my left template. Do I want to retain anything? No. Look, they're out there. All right. So gone over some of the basics. We've gone and put on our template here. Now, a lot of times, once you get your base layout here, usually I like to get the base layout going before you do, start bringing images into it or start bringing backgrounds into it. But for the most part, just going to go over some images here real quick. So when you're bringing your images over to your page here, so if you bring them over, if your boxes, your images, there's indicators here in the photo box that let you know if it's going to place or if you need to find a different image to use. So me hovering over all these spots here, if it lights green, that's going to let you know that the photo is going to fit and drop right into that spot. Duplicate image warning. So I have used this image somewhere else in the book already. So this is going to let us know that this photo has been placed. Are you sure? Are you sure? In this case, I'm just doing that. It's like, yes. Now, sometimes it's a good indicator, like, oh, no, I've used it. No need to. A lot of times where you see some schools will use their logo throughout the book, and that's another place where you'll kind of see this image pop up again. If you've got a logo, school logo that you're repeating through the pages. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. I want it to place. Where is it? Here we go. So then if you find an image, if it goes kind of, I know it kind of looks purplish, but it's supposed to be red. So that's letting you know that that image is not large enough for that spot. Now, I can still let go of the image and it'll drop, but it's going to drop into its own photo box on top of that other photo. So it's not just kind of floating around. The program will put it in a photo box that it can. So right now I'm trying to stretch this out. This image, just based on its size and resolution, is at its fullest. Is the image still usable? It can. This may not be the best page for it. Now, something that gets real small, if you're not able to get a larger copy, what you probably can do in those, if you don't get another copy, is there like a candid activity page where you just have a whole bunch of candids thrown on there? That would be, a good spot for it. Um, but just want to kind of show you that if what you're bringing it to is not large enough, it will put it in its own photo box over top of that one. Bring some photos here. Yep, I've done that. So I'm just going through and just filling stuff in there. So a lot of it, just drag and drop. Now, what are some of the other things that you can do when you have your photo boxes on page? Um, what's some of the formatting stuff and different stuff that you have here? Here, I'm going to take this out. Um, with I'm going to grab these two photos here. So if your photo's selected, some of the neat things you can kind of do here on the page, if you wanted to apply a border to them, like a small, simple stroke border, that's what this drop down here, your stroke size. Now, if you want to adjust the color of that stroke, come down to the color drop down. You give that a different kind of color there. I'll go, now let's see, let me get something a little more visible. There we go, orange. So you can do that. Some other things you can do with your photos. With it selected, we can come under Format and Effects. So we've got rounded corner, so we could round the corners of that. Rounded corner. We wanted to make it kind of see-through, and this kind of comes in with certain shapes in that we could do. Could lighten the photo, just tint it a little bit. Hit drop shadow. Say we wanted to give a little bit of shadow, so I'm going to pick color here. So it makes it looks like it has a little bit of depth on the page. So all different little neat things that you can kind of do here to your pages. Now, if you're in as advisor, one thing that extra that you do have, and here, let me just pick this photo. Advisors have access to Snap Edit, which will allow you to kind of color adjust or just adjust photos on colors. So let me bring up the Snap Edit tool. So here we got different filters and that you put on. So if you want to make it black and white, you can make the photo black and white. Sepia tone, this is kind of gives that old look, kind of westernly kind of look there to it. Color overlays. There's colorize, which And usually on the colorize, sometimes the darker colors work better over the photos like that. You want to adjust brightness, contrast, saturation. You can also, for those that are kind of more advanced there, can work with levels to adjust the levels of the images there. Basically your low, your mid, and your highlights there. You can adjust those. Now, another thing that you can do here, and what I've kind of noticed is working with the black and white or in the overlay, uh, you can kind of stack some of these filters. So one thing I noticed is I found kind of fun to do if you want to kind of knock out all color, first make it black and white to make it kind of grayscale. And then if you come over to overlay, then when you put, different over there, you can then adjust how dark that is or how light that is. But you can kind of play with the colors that way. So we hit save. Uh, One thing, when it's making these adjustments, where you do have a button up here that says see original. So what the program does is after you make these adjustments, down here, this is the name of the photo, but the program's going to make another version of it now and call it copy. So I'm going to hit save. And so what this will do is once this is done doing its thing, it'll put the copy on the page to where you can see the filtered, what has the effects there. And if I come back up into, right here. So in my folder, I still have my original, and now I also have my edited version here. So don't worry about playing with the effects or that. Don't really worry about if you're going to mess up the original photo. Any of the effects that are applied here, those just they get a copy made to them. Okay. Um, so once you pretty much have, you got the photos in, some other things, what you can do. So that's photos and working with that. Kind of go up here to the text box here. One thing that you'll notice is depending on what you have selected on the page, um, the toolbar that pops up above the page will have their options will change. So if you have a photo selected, you have different photo editing options. Then if you have text selected, here's where you'll get the different text editing options. So here's where you can change the font style to any of the other ones that you had, change the size, change the color of that type. Looks like that's a separate little box there. If you want to, you can add a stroke to the box. If you wanted a stroke text box. Now the X that you see there, if you ever see that in a text box, that's just letting you know that not all of the type inside is showing or fit, but if you adjust the box a little bit, make it either a little bit wider or deeper, then everything will go to show again. Now with that box, now when you bring it on the color menu, there's a few different options here that you'll need to kind of pay attention to. So text fill is dealing with the text color, the actual, the fill of that. Text stroke, if I have this, is going to apply. I'm going to make the fill orange so this shows up better. So if I go back to color, if I do text stroke is going to put a border around your actual text, your actual lettering there. But if we bring up and have the box selected again, anything that is shape fill or shape stroke is dealing with the overall box itself there. So text fill, I have orange. Text stroke, I have that purple. Now I can make the shape fill that orange too, and I can also make that shape stroke that purple. adjust that. There we go. So a lot of different things that you can kind of work with on that box there, but you can make some interesting headlines just by filling in text boxes and that are there. All right, so we've gone over taking one of our templates and how to adjust it. We've got some that do have text and how to work with text in the top bar here. Um, if we want to add stuff or take other stuff out, our templates are customizable. So I'm going to bring this down more here. So what about some extra stuff that we can do with our page? Well, so if I come down to the art tab here, if I ever want to add another photo frame in somewhere, taken out or a different one, I could go to image frame. I could add one of these back in. Maybe I want to fill this in with like an accent shape or something. I can go to shapes. I could bring over any of the shapes that are here. They just start as just a gray color, but then you can adjust those to anything else. So if you want to do something neat with your page numbers, you could bring something in like that. Your page numbers are also just an element like anything else, so you can change the font style. Color. I'm gonna make a really big page number here. I saw that one time in a book and I thought that looked really neat there. Well, you could do some, something cool like that with the shapes and stuff that are there. Let me bring that up. So that was kind of neat. Over here under clip art, this is where you're going to find all the different little pieces of clip art that you want to fall in. Some have headings, some are just lines. There is tons and stuff here. By category, going to be a lot of generic things that we have under here. By cover, under by cover and by theme is where you're going to find um, different backgrounds and clip art that are associated with the different covers that we have. More or less by cover just goes with our cover. By themes has a nice lot of little stuff in it there too, with backgrounds and clip art that go with specific themes. And by type is stuff like borders, headlines, icons, letters, um, ribbon banners. Um, so if I didn't want that type here, let's say I wanted to bring a banner over, and now I started sizing that and didn't realize that it was going to go kind of wonky on the proportion there. So I'm going to bring this over. So if your clip art, when you go to a large something, if you want it to scale proportionately and keep everything showing, drag it out by the corners because then it'll keep it going proportionate. If you bring it out by ear, here's where you start losing kind of part of the image because it loses how it's scaled there. So I'm going to bring different one back on. I'm just going to grab the corner. You know what? Maybe I'm going to do that. And I'm going to bring this one over here. All different things you can do. Make your own heading. Come to the text tab. You'd have different styles here that you throw back on. Now, the styles that you see here, body, copy, caption, headline, these are all just starting text boxes that you can set up your own. Like I want to use this style for just the headline. That if you come under plan in styles, I'm going to save this real quick. Plan and styles will give you these different headlines that you're seeing there, and you can create your own. It's just how the text box starts when you jump onto a page. To add us when you hit add style, so you give it a name, you give it a category. You'll choose any of the fonts that you have in your font collection and the starting size, and then when you hit save, it'll just add up like the rest that you have here. And it will then be an option. Now that I'm back in the page designer, it will then be an option that you can pull from. So I'm just going to go headline, move it over top. Say I'm going to go under the alignment. I'm going to center that. While it's still selected, I'm going to go to the color, make sure my text fill is selected, and I'll just make that. There we go. Take out my page number here. Go back to art, find a different little piece of clip art here. There you go. Got neat little clip art in here. Different little neat things that you can put to pages here and there. A lot of different fun stuff. Okay. Um, so to kind of wrap up our page, just kind of just our working page here, our working example here, is what do we do with backgrounds, or how do we deal with getting a background on the page? A couple different ways to go about that. The first way I'm going to show you is here from the Art tab. You can go to Background, and under Background, this is where you're going to find a lot of the autograph pages up here at the front. There's also other autograph pages that are back here in the back, down lower within that. And to apply these backgrounds or anything that's in here, you're just going to bring them over and drop them into some open space there. Here, let me clear this off here so you can see. So that was just kind of an autograph page. They apply like the backgrounds. Don't want to use that one, just swap, drag and drop one over. That's a really colorful background. Just some other stuff that's in here, just the generic backgrounds. So a lot of the generic backgrounds in here are just drag and drop, bring them over. The other way to bring over backgrounds, if you're looking for, let's say you're looking to do solid color, maybe you have your own image, or let's say that you, with one of our covers, and you wanted to use one of the backgrounds that go along with that cover. When we're working with those backgrounds or solid colors, we'll want to go up to the Edit menu, and we'll want to bring up Change Background. This brings up our handy dandy little background menu here that when I'm working on stuff, I actually like to, it's just a floating little menu that you can push off to the side. I like to keep it up. It's just real handy, move it around. Off the bat, it lets you choose, which side are you working on, left page or right page. Under, let's see, let me do left page here. So then if we want to do, let's say we wanted to do on our page here that we were kind of working on and building today, let's say that we want to do just a solid color. Just go through, I'm just going to pick we'll do this classic honey here, kind of a yellow background that goes through there. So that does solid color. So that's pretty nice. On some of these other ones, let's say that with this one background that we put in just from the art tab, you like it, but let's say it's too bold. The color you find is like, well, the color is kind of distracting. The color is taking away from the focus, the foreground, what, your pictures that you have here. Um, where was that? One. Here we go. Just to show you. So on this one, you see like it's kind of the background doesn't help a lot. The stuff looks kind of a little kind of muddled in there. But if we were to tint that background to lighten it up using the tint slider, what that does is it makes that not so bold, but it brings the focus more or less up in here, and it kind of makes it gives it like a less busy look or a less busy feeling to it. So definitely, if you like backgrounds that are in here, you like the bold color. I mean, it's just you know beyond. It's just really bold, but you feel like if I kind of just lighten them a little bit, then brings different definition to the page, different look to the page. You can see some of your foreground stuff a little better. Okay, so that was just solid color in that. So how do you get to your own backgrounds and to the cover? Well, that's where this choose image background or choose image button comes in. So I'm going to bring up choose image. And now if you're looking for your own background, let's see, I think I've got one. Nope. So I've got my own background that I thought I had within my activity images. Nope, there it is right there. So so if that's your own image, so when you're looking for images, your own background, um, let's say that maybe you have a nice like portrait shot of a hallway with lockers, or you went outside and took a the front picture of your building, or maybe you got like an awesome playground setting and you took a picture of that you want to use, or maybe you got this your school is known for this huge tree or something on campus. You take a picture of that to put it in the book. Um, definitely. So a lot of those set those pictures up portrait style to work for backgrounds. Um, usually anything coming off a camera is going to be at size already. If you're finding stuff off the web, your own backgrounds off the web, um, size does size that you're looking for in those images is anything that is above is 2000 by 3000 pixels. So that's the minimum kind of bare cutoff. So anything over that 2000 by 3000 will apply, kind of like here. So like I select my own image, I hit select, and now it's got to the back. Um, if it's too short, when you go here to choose image, if it's not large enough, it'll be in this you'll see like a red outer box around it here, letting you know you're not able to choose that. All right. I'm going to go back under choose image, and this time I'm going to go down under clip art. Oh, open up clip art, got to hit the little arrow there. And we're going to look under by cover. By cover is where you're going to find all the theme art that is associated with our covers that are here. Another, one that's really popular here, branching out, has been a cover that gets chosen a lot. So we'll go down to branching out. This particular header or this theme, this cover has a whole bunch of headings that go with it too. So make sure to check those out. Got a whole bunch of different colors here. Now, when you're looking at these backgrounds, it doesn't matter really how you apply it, but this one here is the left and this one here is the right. I'll just select that here. But then we got that on the page. And you know what? Cancel. They hit right page, hit choose image. I'll get the other side there. So there we kind of see the whole thing. That. So that is how you're going to get to the theme art. So um, two different ways here. So if you're looking for just the pieces of clip art for a heading, so I'm going to take all this top part off, take that out. So I'm going to go to clip art, And from the drop down, I'm going to find by cover. Got to hit that little arrow. I'm going to go down to branching out. So here's where all those little characters are. So we got the corner. You can put them down in the corner, kind of sit there, give it a neat little look like that. It's got little headings in that. So first grade, you want to do something neat. So this is where you're going to go to get the clip art. You know, you can find the backgrounds to these too. But one thing you'll notice, they're not going to work like the other backgrounds. So if you do bring these over, they come on small when you're using them just from the thing. So when you bring them over from the tab, they're going to come over small. So um, if you want that to actually be to use the backgrounds out of these, you'll need to use the background menu to navigate to there. But so clip art pieces, go to the art tab, and backgrounds will go to here. Um, Now, all along the way, at certain steps, what I should have been doing this is going up here and show you to hit the save button. One thing that you will want to do is as you're working on your pages, um, before you start going into the next big steps in that, you know, save often. Um, One thing that advisors have here is a history tab. And with that history tab, it keeps record of each and every saved change for each page. So as long as you're saving your changes, if you ever need to revert back to a previous day, or let's say that I want to jump back to, you know, maybe about 10 minutes ago, I could go to here to the history, find where my last save point was, and make sure we're on the right page up here. Right now it says page 15, but I'm looking at page 14. So I'm going to pull up 14's history, and I want to go back to kind of that, bring it over. So that's how you can kind of start back with that. I'm going to undo that real quick and bring everything back. But just in the event, let's say that you're going, you know, putting everything in, you started styling, and you're like, well, I kind of want to revert back to where I was before, or maybe I want to start over from what I did yesterday or something like that. As long as you're keeping your, you know, you're saving your changes, then they will be here in history, and you can always revert to that time. Okay. So like I said, this one was going to be a long one, and we got about 350. Um, have about 10 minutes here. I can hang on if we want to do frequently asked questions, or just kind of some going over some questions time. Um, I have gone through all we're going to cover today as far as, you know, bleeds and margins, templates, some basics, and how to get the theme art in that. Um, but before we wrap up anything, I can open. I'm going to open this up to you all. Feel free if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question. If you don't want to unmute yourself, you want to drop your question into the chat, go for it. Do my best here with the little time we have to answer any questions you all may have. Okay, got a couple good questions here, real quick. Um, I'll just take them in how the order I get. So one question is, how do you get your images into your image library from your computer? Um, Kind of going back on what may have been touched last one. Any of all your uploading, if you go under Create and go into the image library. Actually, I need to get out of here. Hold on. All right. So I'm under create and I'm in an image library. Now, if your photos, you start with, if you click on the arrow next to activities, you start with a few different kind of default categories that are here that you could upload to. So if I select, let's say, clubs and organizations, the upload button is right over here. If I click on that, if you got a folder off to the side with your images, you could drag and drop them in here. They will start uploading. Or if you need to navigate to them, just hit choose images. They'll bring up a prompt where you can then navigate those on your computer. Now, these you do start with 6 default categories, but they're just there if you want to use them. If you want to make your own category, just make sure activities is selected and then come up here and hit the add subcategory folder, a little teal folder with a plus, and then you can put in any event going around your school, like first day of school. Right now, we're in fall festival mode at our school, so different things going on. Sports, if I would spell that right. So right here, once you get that, just select your folder and upload. But no, good question. Because usually we kind of go into that. It's I think it's covered at the last one, but either way, no, good question to ask here. So, um, the next question is, how do you see all the fonts for headlines? Um, Really, that's just based on. I'm gonna get to. That was probably some. Here we go. So if we're talking about the styles, so headline, my headline, and all that, that's just the name of that style. Any font in the program, any font in your collection can be used as, these are all the ones that I've just added here. Let me go under plan and fonts here. So if you're an advisor, there's categories of what's here, but any font can be used for anything. But if you're just going to plan fonts, you can see the different fonts that are here. If you click on one, it previews off to the side. If you see one that you like and you want to use it, just come over here and hit the little inactive button to active. One thing I will give you a heads up on is when you activate fonts, they instantly shoot to the top up here. So you could go be down here. It's looking like you're going to activate something, but it looks like it hasn't done anything. Well, it's gone down to the next font here to preview that. And it sends, this is the 2 Avalon ones. So my 2 that I just made active jumped to the top. So just to give you a heads up on that. Good questions. Is it just the advisor that can add fonts? Yes. Yeah, the advisor role is the only one that could add fonts. Now, as far as what you're seeing under this menu, um, if you are usually anyone, staff, and editor just have page ladder here. Staff, font, styles, photo share, replay it. These are all advisor options. So if you are logged in, if you are the advisor and you're logged in and you only see this, um, just log out, find your advisor access that was given to you, or if you've misplaced it, reach out to your rep, reach out to us, and we'll get you that access, so that way you can you know make use of all your privilege, all your permissions that you're supposed to have there. But good questions, good. Um, any anyone else have any questions before we jump off here for the afternoon? Okay. Um, well, I'm not seeing anything else come in that. So hopefully, hopefully I've done an okay job today on kind of going through on building pages and what to do there. But thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining me this afternoon. These demonstrations of the functions related to the creation of activity pages may help when it comes time to build your yearbook. Using the templates already in the program and building your own templates will save you some time and give the book continuity. Um, so feel free if you want to. We're doing this again on Thursday, and then but it'll probably be over the same stuff. We will get that recording out to you. Um, in our next session will be again until December, but it's only kind of going back over the working with portraits and the building activity pages. The final session for this is the final stages, which goes about submitting the book. We will pick that one up in the spring, just because right now everyone's in build mode. So we're just going to do webinars that kind of go with that. If you have questions along the way, please feel free to reach out to us by phone. We can be reached at 1-877 302 3140, or send us an email at memorybooktechsupport@jostens.com. So have a great rest of your afternoon, everybody, and take care.